20 years ago, binge drinking was a huge problem on campus. And I don't remember there being a ton of resources. I'm sure there were efforts, but overall, it was actually a really big problem. How are you grappling with this at an all-women's college, and how were you grappling with this at?
So it's interesting. There is drinking. To be honest, it's not at the same level as on a co-ed campus. So there are various events where we know there's going to be heavy drinking. And Marathon Monday, for example, is a big deal at Wellesley. Everyone goes through something called the Scream Tunnel, and it's historic at the school. And we were seeing some of the things that we talk about where there's football. So, at tailgate parties, people are preloading and drinking prior to going. We were seeing that prior to the marathon. And we really had to, I'm just giving one example, had to really work on how we not only educated our students, but also how we thought about providing other opportunities for engagement and active engagement from the morning all the way through the evening. And it was very, very helpful. I mean, we went from, several transports to the hospital to none. So, I think that's only one event. It's not the culture. We actually deal a little bit more with the drinking that occurs when our students leave the campus. And so we have a lot of education to do around how to think about drinking once you are off campus, and also, all of the parts about healthy relationships and all of the things you can imagine, sexual assault, et cetera, that happen much more frequently under the influence.
Yeah.
So I worked on this both as Senior Vice President and Faculty in Residence at Georgetown, and then as President at Franklin Marshall College. And let me say first that one of the things that Georgetown did that was exciting was that we formed this big group of students, faculty, staff of all different types, alums, to try to get at framing the issue. What framing was it? And students perceived that the school had framed it as, hey, just don't drink till you're 21, period. And that the school perceived it as students just want us to look the other way. And so that was really causing all kinds of friction. And students were basically at Georgetown fighting for the right to party, to quote a song. And you remember
From the 90s by the Beastie Boys.
So we needed to break that. We needed to break that logic, and the administration had to loosen up and be creative and open to more. Without going through all the details, we developed a grant that got some funding to allow faculty to teach facts about drinking in their classes. We liberalized some of the campus drinking policies so that more parties would happen on campus where it was safer. And we developed a social marketing campaign where we shared with students in things like, in safe settings for them, what the actual statistics were, what the actual risks were, because a lot of kids think everybody's, quote, doing it. And then we had some success. I think Franklin and Marshall had a little more success numerically, so in the data, by restructuring its house system. We also created at Franklin and Marshall, though, a group called .08, a student-led group whose focus is to educate peers about safer socializing. Not to say don't drink, but to help them learn some of the ways to know their limits, or to introduce food and water into parties, or to not have sort of bedroom doors closed off or something, have to keep the party down in the one area. And now, so what I think from those two experiments, basically, is I would go a little further. And my belief, actually, is that the 21 drinking age for beer and wine is outdated. No college president should or can take a position.
All your interns are cheering right
now.
You need to repeat what you just said, though. That
no college president can or should take a position on this, but this is my thought, that the 21 drinking age for beer and wine is too high, and that what we should do instead is create a learner's permit framework for beer and wine for 18-year-olds. I guess you're imagining what it would have been like. But I think then if I could serve legally in my pub on campus beer and wine to students who are holding the learner's permit, I could actually have all kinds of ways of doing the educational work of being present, as opposed to hoping that what's happening in pre-gaming and settings where I'm not is okay. I could have my campus police there, I could have my RAs there, and I could take away the learner's permit if students broke the rules or drove with any alcohol in their system. We may yet see if the Aspen Institute can't convene a conversation where other people besides presidents get introduced to the conversation, because I don't think it's fair to ask presidents to stand up in front of their student bodies and their legislators and try to propose something this out of the box. But I think that could actually make a difference, done well.